Okay, book talk. I read Catch 22. I didn't read it last semester. So first, I'm going to talk about what a Catch 22 really is. A Catch 22 is basically when you try to get out of try to get out of a situation, but there are circumstances that won't. Like in the book, it's where he tries to get out of a circumstance. He's trying to get sent back home so he doesn't have to be a bombardier anymore, but they won't let him because they keep upping the amount of missions he has to fly to get sent home. They define Catch 22 as like a set of rules that contradict themselves, so you can't really get out. You can't really stop doing what you were doing. Yeah, that's what a Catch 22 really is. The book actually coined that phrase, and they talk about it a few times in the book, like they define what it really is. And then there are some parts where it's kind of referenced almost, but it doesn't really state Catch 22, but you can tell that's what he's thinking. I thought the book was pretty interesting. It was different. It wasn't like a book usually is. It's a first person book, but it's written in a way where it flashes between present and past in Yossarian's life. So, like the book starts in the current phase where he's being a bombardier in World War II, and then it moves to where he's in the Great Siege of Bologna or something like that. I don't know. It's spelled weird. I think it's that. That's what it's called. And it flashes back to that, and then it goes back to when the mess of their own squadron, bombardier squad, gets bombed by the mess officer. And then it goes back to, I think it goes back to current, or back to the present, and then that's kind of when Yossarian kind of checks out. Doesn't go psycho per se, but he just decides that he's not going to run any more bomb runs and that he's done. The colonel actually gives him a way out. He has to choose between either saying that the colonel's policies are okay, so like he keeps upping the missions that they can leave so nobody gets to leave. Yossarian has to say that he supports that and that he puts other people at risk, or he gets sent home for an dishonorable discharge, and he decides to do neither. He actually leaves and goes to Sweden, of all places. Yeah, he leaves, goes to Sweden, and that's pretty much the end of the book. A lot of characters in the book. So Yossarian, he's convinced that everyone is out there to kill him. He's very paranoid about what's going on. He's always faking something so that he doesn't have to go on bomb runs as much as possible. So in the beginning of the book, it starts out with him in the hospital faking liver pain so that he doesn't have to go back to his squad. But finally, some Texan guy comes in the infirmary and makes him really mad, like angry and mad, annoyed. So they leave. Or he decides, you know what, I've had enough, goes back to his squadron. Doc Danica, Doc Danica, he pities himself a lot. It's not that he thinks highly of himself, but he pities himself because the war put him back. He had a very lucrative business. I think it's in New York City, where he was just being a doctor, had a normal practice going, and he was making tons of money. And then the war came along, and he got sent to war. Dunbar is Yossarian's best friend. He thinks that he will live longer if he slows down time. So he loves boredom, stuff like that. He tries to slow time down. So he's okay with boredom. He's okay with being awkward. He's okay with being... he's okay with discomfort, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, discomfort. Other ones, there's Chaplin, who kind of befriends Yossarian. Chaplin is through the book. I think you see, like, I think he starts to give up on his religion as he goes through the book. It's pretty different. I'd say he's probably one of the most normal guys in the book, or through Yossarian's point of view anyway. He's one of the most normal people. Then there's the Colonel, who nobody likes. Not very smart, kind of very mean person. He doesn't like to, or he's always upping the amount of missions that the people or his pilots have to go on and his bombardiers have to go on. So they never get to leave. They'll fly the appointed amount of missions, and then he kicks it up again. And then he also is trying to become a general, so he keeps volunteering, like Yossarian and all the other guys, for missions that are like suicide missions. And it's pretty crazy how somebody could do that, but he volunteers them for everything, and they have to do it, so they get stuck doing it. What else? There's a Captain Mick Watt. He was Yossarian's pilot for most of the missions that Yossarian flew. Pretty cool. Yossarian views him as, I think, like a really nice guy. He's not like a lot of the other people in this squad. We're kind of mean, kind of dicks. His navigator. Yossarian doesn't like his navigator because his navigator always pretends to not like hear what Yossarian is saying when Yossarian is trying to fly the plane and bomb things. And yeah. I'd identify most with probably, I don't know, I think Yossarian's a pretty interesting guy. I think I'd side with him. He's pretty neutral on his grounds. I mean, he's afraid that everybody's going to kill him, which is a little weird, but yeah. Book talk. Woohoo.